What if the reason money feels stressful has nothing to do with your habits, nothing to do with discipline, and nothing to do with how hard you work? What if you've been playing a financial game your entire life without ever being shown the rules, and then blamed yourself every time you fell behind? Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why money pressure feels unavoidable and why working harder almost never fixes it. Once you see how money actually works, you stop feeling behind and start making decisions with clarity instead of guilt. Stay with me. This changes how most people see money permanently. The question that explains everything. Let's start with a question almost no one is encouraged to ask. What is money? Most people say, a way to buy things, a store of value, something you earn, all true. But incomplete. Money isn't wealth. Money is a shared belief system. The numbers in your bank account aren't physical assets. They're claims, promises that other people will accept those numbers in exchange for real goods and labor. A dollar works because we all agree it works. And once you understand that, a lot of confusing financial behavior suddenly makes sense. This is the first missing piece. Why understanding money isn't rewarded. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The financial system doesn't reward people for understanding how it works. It rewards people for participating in it consistently. Banks and financial institutions don't need you to be fluent in finance. They need you to deposit money, borrow money, spend money, and service debt for decades. That's not a conspiracy. That's incentives, and incentives shape systems. This is where most financial advice quietly breaks down. What actually happens to your money in a bank? When you deposit money into a bank, it doesn't sit there waiting for you. Most of it is loaned out almost immediately. This is called fractional reserve banking, and it's the backbone of modern finance. But here's the part most people never hear. When a bank approves a loan, it doesn't move existing money. It creates new money digitally. A $300,000 mortgage isn't taken from other people's deposits. It's created with keystrokes, which means most money in the economy exists because someone somewhere is in debt. No debt, no money. Pause on that for a second, because this explains more than people realize. Why debt has to keep expanding. Now add interest. If a bank creates $1 million in loans at 5% interest, $1 million enters circulation, but $1.05 million must be paid back. That extra $50,000 doesn't exist yet. The only way it appears is through new loans, which means the system requires expanding credit, expanding debt, expanding consumption. This isn't a flaw, it's the engine. And this is why debt doesn't feel optional, even for responsible people. Why people feel rich and stay stuck. The system understands human psychology extremely well. It knows most people would rather feel successful today, even if it creates stress later, so it makes spending easy and patience painful. Debt is time travel for consumption. You get the house, the car, the lifestyle, now, and you pay for it with future income, often for decades. This is where stress quietly enters the picture. Status is the real product. Modern finance doesn't just sell money, it sells identity. The house signals success, the car signals competence, the lifestyle signals worth, and the system makes sure you can buy those signals long before you can truly afford them. That's not accidental. Because once your income is locked into monthly payments, your freedom shrinks. You can't take risks. You can't slow down. You can't walk away. Not because you're trapped by force, but because you're trapped by obligation. Why this feels personal, but isn't. When people struggle financially, they assume it's a personal failure. They worked harder, they budgeted, they tried, but the math was never neutral. The average household carries 6 figures of debt. National debt climbs every year, and individuals blame themselves. That self-blame is incredibly efficient because confused people don't question systems. They internalize stress. This is the part most people never connect. How wealthy people use the same system differently. Here's the key distinction. Wealthy people don't avoid debt. They use it intentionally. Most people borrow to consume. Cars, furniture, vacations. Debt grows, assets don't. Wealthy borrowers use debt to acquire businesses, real estate, productive assets. Their debt increases, but their assets grow faster. Same system, same rules, very different outcomes. Why compounding helps some and hurts others. Compound interest is powerful. At 10% annual returns, $10,000 becomes over $450,000 in 40 years. But compounding cuts both ways. If you're compounding assets, time helps you. If you're compounding debt, time works against you. And the system ensures most people spend their early decades servicing debt, not building capital. By the time investing becomes possible, time is no longer on their side. This is why timing matters more than effort. What understanding this actually gives you? This knowledge doesn't free you from the system, but it gives you something better. Clarity. You stop blaming yourself. You stop chasing appearances. You start making intentional trade-offs. You stop asking, how do I afford this? And start asking, what does this cost my future? That shift alone changes everything. You don't need to escape the system. You don't need to reject money, avoid all debt, or live off the grid. You just need to stop playing the game blindly. You may never be ultra wealthy, but you can build a life where money supports your choices instead of controlling them, and that already puts you ahead of most people. Now you understand how money actually works. The question isn't whether the system is fair, it's whether you'll keep reacting to it unconsciously or start making decisions with intention. If this gave you a clearer lens on money, subscribe for more videos that break down finance without hype, shame, or false promises. In the next videos, we'll talk about how to operate inside this system without burning yourself out. Because once you understand the rules, you finally get to choose how you play.